Martha, come here. Have you seen his lordship's new horse? Oh, it's a fine beast. I was just talking to Robert in the yard and he said, have you seen this horse? His lordship's called it Thunder. I said, well, that's a fine name for a strong horse. And he said, that's not why he's called him Thunder, Bessie. He's called him Thunder because he doesn't fart. I said, oh, his lordship, he's such a wheeze.
Quietly, girls, quietly, quickly, come in. Okay, that row, be seated. Camilla, Fortescue, that skirt, I can see your knees. Yes, come to my study, please, at morning recess, and I shall measure it with a ruler. You girls, quickly, quickly, latecomers, be seated. Girls, I have called this assembly because I am so furious after having a phone call from a lady in the village. She rang me to say on a number of occasions, girls from this establishment have been going to the chip shop and then eating their purchases on her wall. Miss Mason and I went down and lay in wait. And we saw Fenella Fortescue and her cronies sitting on the wall, eating chipped potatoes, awash with gravy and with a wooden fork. Who can tell me the rule on al fresco dining? Yes, Celia. Yes, absolutely correct. Al fresco dining is forbidden unless one has purchased a pre-packed picnic hamper from Fortnum and Mason or Harrods. I am shocked at the decline in behaviour of you girls. They shall be dealt with most severely. Girls, stand. Leave assembly in silence. Right, so what do I tell them, love? Who I am, whereabouts I'm from, a little bit about myself, where I work and what I like doing, and then, most importantly, what I'm looking for in a man. So do I just stir directly into it? Hello, men in the Northwest. My name's Brenda. I work for a local taxi company in Weatherfield. I work on the switch usually overnight at the weekends, and occasionally if they're short they'll let me go out and drive. But Steve, the boss, doesn't really like that. He says it's too dangerous for a woman. But I mean, if you'd see some of his other lads, you know, punters would be less likely to have a go at me than they would some of them. Anyway, he's pretty decent as a boss, but he's a bit mad, you know. I mean, he changes his women like he changes his wife fronts. And then there's Lloyd. Oh, I love Lloyd. He's really nice. I mean, I've tried giving him the glad eye, you know, but he doesn't seem to be too interested. Anyway, what do I like to do? Well, I like to go out and have a nice meal, but none of that bistro muck. I mean, what use is 3 slices of wafer thin beef, you know, 2 potatoes the size of pickled onions, a waft of asparagus and a bit of jus. I mean, what's all that about? You need a real meal. I tell you what, when Roy and Ailey Cropper were away and that Mary were running cafe, I went to all them theme nights. Oh, it were fantastic. Aye, so I like a meal. I like to cuddle up on the sofa at home and watch a good film. You know, bring a takeaway. Speaking of takeaways, do you know, I thought I'd actually sorted it the other week. I went round to pick up our regular order we have on a Friday night, and I went to Wong's Emporium on Inkerman Street. Mr. Wong came out and he'd got a big banana box full of all the food, and he popped it in the back seat and he stuck his head into the car and he looked at me and I thought, what's wrong, Mr. Wong? And he said, Brenda, he said, why don't you come tomorrow lunch? He said, you come upstairs with me for 69. And I thought, 69? Does that have prawns? I like prawns. So I said, all right, Mr. Wong, about 1 o'clock. So he nods his head and shuffles back into takeaway. So anyway, I finishes my shift and goes home, sets the alarm. Nice sleep, gets up, quick wash. And then I goes round to Mr. Wong's and knocks on the back door. And the door flies open and this Chinese woman comes flying at me. She's got a wok in one hand and a cleaver in the other. And I said, whoa, missus, what's the matter? She says, you stay away from Mr. Wong. I'm Mrs. Wong. And I said, whoa, it's fine, no problem. And I'm like backing out of the yard. Oh, mad. So that would have been ideal, you see. I mean, Mr. Wong and the Chinese. And I never did find out whether number 69 came with fried rice or chips. Anyway, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a real man, a man with some meat on him. Yeah? Somebody who'd like to sit on the sofa and cuddle. Got plenty to get hold of. You wouldn't know where to start.